Aro ki te wairua o te hā. Spoken spirit, spirit formed. I am an artist, activist, and community psychologist, and I draw on these identities to express, connect, and articulate Indigenous continuity, self-determination, and hope. Painting my spirit is about expressing these layered identities through belonging to the biosphere. Papa Tuanuku, Earth Mother, Rangi Nui, Sky Father, and all their children, tamariki. Come on a journey with me, emancipating spirit through senses, sensation, and sensibilities. Let's connect beyond spoken words and lines drawn. Let's invoke aro ki te wairua o te hā, a deep consciousness of reverence, connection, bonds, and freedom. I begin with whakapapa, the lines of descent. I ask what you see. I see me. He uri mokopuna tēnei no te whānau āpanui, Ngāti Porou me Waikato Tainui hoki. My whakapapa is derived from my Pākehā mama and my Māori pāpā. My mama has English, Scottish and French ancestry, and my pāpā is Māori, Swedish, English and Scottish. I grew up in two worlds. This is my strength. This is my lens. I feel an inherent responsibility to amplify the voices of my people. For so long, our stories have been told for us, about us, and back to us. Our histories have been told from a colonial perspective for hundreds of years, and now it is time for us to break that narrative. You can remove us from our lands, remove our languages, our traditions, the very root of who we are. You can expose our people to an institutionalized racism and have politics that are meant to wipe out an entire population, and then expect us to come out healthy and well? How can we go forward? It is hard to imagine what decolonization looks like. But I know how I will feel. It will feel like us, like we have arrived home. The strokes have changed to reflect the different frequencies I hear. I ask, what do you hear? I hear the karakia, the chant, Whakarongo by Edawera Sterling. Whakarongo, 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 whakarongo ki te tangiata manu e karangane, tui, 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 tuia. Tuia ki runga, tuia ki raro, tuia ki roto, tuia ki waho, tuia i te here tangata, ka rongo te pō, ka rongo te pō. Tuia i te kāwai tangata e heke mai, i Hawaii ki nui, i Hawaii ki roa, i Hawaii ki pāmama,
E hono ki te wairua, ki te whai ao, ki te ao marama.
Adding textured layers, I focus on how I feel. I ask, what do you feel? At this stage I feel uneasy with making mistakes, asking the wrong questions, not knowing where I'm going, and even questioning who I am. I turn to the words of Kathy Irwin for comfort and guidance. We don't need anyone else developing the tools which will help us come to terms with who we are. We can and will do this work. Real power lies with those who design the tools. It always has. This power is ours. Through the process of developing such theories, we will contribute to our empowerment as Māori women, mana wahine, moving forward in our struggles for our people, our lands, our world, ourselves. Her words, they give me guidance for the unease, and how this unease, this unknown, is a source of power as the conditioned world crumbles around me. The painting is shifting. I ask, what do you taste? I taste milk from the fat cow in the motherlands of the crown. On the fringes of my eye, electric static replays patterning pulse of time prints on my lashes. It can burn if you don't water it. Grass blades on my electric fence, taking pulse to the shock away from the cow. We grow meat, milk, eat, drink, live, die. No part provides nutrients to the soul but a belly full of devil, to overconsume, underburn, and oversee the milk in my eye. Adding fine lines to complement the space. It might look messy and abstract, but meaning is starting to form. I ask, is this touching to you? How touching can words be when all I want to do is paint my psychology away? She said, trust in myself. Myself is a fictional island floating in a galaxy far, far away that is best seen when you don't look at it directly. Matariki. Me is knowing never, ever to take a deep breath because they might hear how much you want to speak, but when the gaze comes your way, you look down, swallowing words and thoughts that process in your gut, that forms as knots. And when holding on, trying to unravel the nylon rope, it moves through your hands and burns. Today, and most days, I try to form words. Words on paper, Words for a world that doesn't make sense, an institutional land, an academic forum that my family and friends will not read, not because they don't want to, but because they don't have access. These pages hold tears and doubt and sensitivity beyond the time it took to create. They say, be grateful. Must I be thankful for the privilege of conforming to an institution, a regime of power that I must take this title doctor, so that one day my fake dreams of becoming a professor will be capped? No, thank you. Not at the cost of me, not at the cost of my family. Spending years listening, hearing contradiction after contradiction, and expectations that I must take interest. What I hear is not what I see. The Modi, the energy of ego, growing like a virus, speaking louder and louder in my ear. Manifestations from my puku, my gut to my throat. It's tight, reminding me that psychology chokes, slowly taking away parts of me I cannot remember. Will I ever recover? I resent the very whānau that supported me, that kept me just down enough to handle me, to consume me, to only get drunk enough to share their feelings. I'm hurt from my lover, such rawness, so much shame of how we dance, to only hear shallow words and powerful to the powerless actions, to keep fear topped up just enough so we can smell the conformity. But let's celebrate this momentous occasion. Let's take a photo. Look at the camera. Let's package this up in a nice smile that reeks of bad breath and ill health. But let's not forget the topic. It's about community health and well-being at the expense of the researcher, at the expense of the writer, to which is no reader, only to examine and judge. Oh shit, if I haven't had enough of that already. Fuck off. Fuck sentence structure. Fuck sentence structure. Fuck grammar. Fuck spelling this mongrel language. Fake rules in a fake world that doesn't even exist. My indoctrinated mind, remember to consider. Be polite. Be grateful. Remember to complete that paper. Write that book. Reference those ideas and drown in indoctrination. Don't do it, I say to an aspiring academic, with a laugh. I meant it. At the same time, I don't. Who am I to advise? What do I know? What I know is pain, a friend that greets me with embrace, that grips with passion, and when I rip into my skin to find, it's not like that pain of childbirth. That pain was grounding, emancipating. This pain is fictional, lucid, and irrational. She says, the world is waiting for you to set it on fire. Trust in yourself and burn. I say, be careful what you ask for. Did this sting a little to the eyes that read, or the ears that heard? Or maybe did it burn? If it did, may the throbbing remain longer than it took to consume my words. May it scar your expectations and your assumptions and ownership of me. I add lines above, reflections of Modi below. I have begun to frame. What smells are around you? Guided by my scent, I share my poem. I feel more deeply when I am still, calm and grounded, the lessons of tipuna imprinted within, without, through and in between emerge. I try to describe that space between cells. It speaks without words. It smells of salt and screams with emotion. Tangaroa a mua. I have consciously and unconsciously observed and felt Maramataka, the Māori lunar calendar. I have come in and out of awareness of what state Te Tai Ao, the environment, is in. But I have come to know that it is always present. I have these moments when I'm coming up against something. Then I go, oh, wait, it's Tangaroa and Hinemoana. That's why they are calling. It provides a deeper and a collective understanding. A relief that, yes, I am part of Te Ao Marama, this world. Tai mate. The synchronicity of the environment is impeccable and so complexly simple, all at the same time. I consider the turning tides and what this important moment brings. In front of a turning tide, I consider the movement of the currents both forward and backwards in this moment. And in the slight in-between is now. As I become aware of now, it grows, no longer swelling forward and no longer swinging backwards. It's just now. Now is this moment of stillness and clarity, that my lungs expand and my thoughts soften. Oxygen enters and emancipates my body. Tears swell up behind my eyes that I didn't know were in a waiting room, ready to be released. Whakaroau. When I move forward and shift backwards, tears roll down my face. I feel a pulse in the back of my nose, hupe, mucus coming forward. I'm not sad, but salty tears spread. It's a moment of release. I realize that this moment is perfect. Everything I have learned is woven into my skin. My cells that hold 1,000,000 stories, thousands of years of knowledge. If I could only stay still enough to hear the words being spoken.
Haramai, 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 haramai o te marae o hine.
I feel more deeply when I am still, calm and grounded, the lessons of tipuna imprinted within, without, through, in between emerge. I try to describe that space between cells. It speaks without words. It smells of salt and screams with emotion. Filling in spaces to give depth. What is the focus? Is it white or is it black? Do we need to make a distinction? Our whakatauki, our proverbs, can provide an insight. He mauri tō te tangata, he whakapapa tōna, he mana motu hake. Everyone has mana, everyone has whakapapa. Everyone has an identity that makes them no more or no less important than the next. I fill in the lines above, highlighting form, reclaiming the space. Time has passed in my psychology journey. I've met many inspiring people, and their words remain with me. In the words of Moana Jackson, when we name and reclaim our truth, the historical and contemporary injustice, we can reclaim the truth in our own power. Our power as Māori is innately relational, depends on the gathering of networks, recognising the entitlement of individuals, mana, that are exercised within the well-being of the collective, mana motuhake. I say that I am my tupuna and my mokopuna instantaneously. There is no generational gap. There is only now. In this moment, I am complete. I am perfect. I am enough. There are no more strokes to be made, no more gaps to be filled, no more lines to include. As I pause, I look out into the distance and consider Indigenous. Ko Rāmari Hiramea tōku tīpuna. This is my great-great-grandmother, mother to 16 children. Her youngest is my grandmother, Rawunia Waiariki. Her middle son is my father, Edwin Charles Carlson. Ko au te mata o tōku tīpuna. Together we are community psychology. Together we are kaupapa Māori. As I come to the end of my painting, I reflect on my journey through the strokes of the painting. I reflect on the questions I have asked and the pathways I took to follow my thoughts. My purpose was to seek knowledge and go wherever my form took me. At times I've had to be brave and creative, to revisit what is acceptable and to ask, is this what my great-great-grandmother imagined for me? Is this what she meant? Te tiro ki muri, kia whakatika a mua. Look to the past and proceed to the future.